Welcome to Drinks Coach. I'm Vinesack, and this is Drinks Coach UK on YouTube. Thanks for filling in all the colour wifey. She's in the bath at the moment. She's freshening it all up because it was decided to get sun bleached. And it's always going to be Twitter, Elon. So, okay, so, all right. I haven't opened these yet. I'm so excited. Okay, thank you. Because respects have to be paid to Melissa Draycott and the whole of Gonzalez Bias Division, distributor UK, for sending me. I asked for a bottle of sherry, and you'll see that in a clip, or I may have even posted it by now, but I was going to do a little Instagram clip of that because I saw them opening a massive bottle of this Gonzalez Bias Palo Cortado, which is one of my favorite one of my favorite wines in the whole damn universe. And I said, yeah, I'll have one of those. And Melissa said, okay, I'll send you a bottle. Not obviously one of the big ones, but send me a bottle of it. But alongside that, she also sent 2 Tuscan wines and 2 bottles of champagne, which shows the class of the Grand Poobah of Gonzalez Bias, which is Melissa Draycott. Round of applause, everyone. Thank you very much. And she's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And she sent me 2 bottles of wine, which are okay, right? So I don't get sent champagne very often. I don't know why, because I used to consider myself a real expert in it. But suddenly, from one day to the next, nobody invited me anymore. I think it's because I don't wear the right shaped dresses. If I've got the right dress on, maybe I get invited to those events. But I just don't get invited to anything. I got invited to one champagne event last year. I talked about it 18 times. So there we go. What we've got here, these are wines which are called, I think, homage, is it? An homage to William DEUTZ. Very important we say that, first of all. It is DEUTZ. It was DEUTZ and something else back in the day. But this is a name that clearly looks like it's a German name. Probably was a German name in the past. But don't call it DEUTZ. It just shows you as the retard that you are, the person that you're... It just immediately exposes you as not an expert. It's DEUTZ. Okay? So I'm not even looking at the camera. It's DEUTZ. That's it. And William DEUTZ, which makes it even more complicated because it wasn't Guillaume DEUTZ. It would be William DEUTZ, Wilhelm DEUTZ. No, it's William DEUTZ. Should I not say that again? Okay, right, no, I won't say that again. So we have a producer that started making wine. I think he started making champagne in 1838. June 1838. The late great Queen Victoria was crowned. That's it. Not coronated. That sounds like something that happens to young Jewish boys. I have to be rather careful about that. So anyway, it's as old as Queen Victoria has been a queen. So there we go. So let's call it Early Victorian Company. Their packaging's great. They are in. Oh, I have a map. Shows you how spontaneous this shit is. Right, okay, there we go. Right. Let's get the map up and going. Okay. Now think amongst yourselves while I do this. Okay. This is Ailly, or Marie-sur-Ailly, or Ailly-sur-Champagne. Okay. So just to this way, right? Just to the west is Epernay, and this is Ailly. Ailly, not A or I. Okay, it says A and then Y with an umlaut over it. Who knew you could put an umlaut over a consonant? It's like huskadoo or spinal tap. The umlaut's over the N. Have you ever noticed that? Quality. Okay, right. So this is Champagne DEUTZ in Ailly, because the Y usually with the umlaut expresses the fact that it used to be an S, so it'd be Azzy. I was just looking at some other names. There's a few names, you might have heard of. Bollinger. Heard that one? Yeah. Paul Gossip. Giro. Apparently he makes a nice drop. Oh, look, there's the Leclerc. Okay, that's where I buy my tea next time I go. Anyway, so, yeah. Epicenter of beautifulness, of greatness. Okay, so, just give you an idea of where we are. We're zooming out a little bit. There's Epernay, right? And that shows you how close it's Epernay. Yeah. That's Paris. That's where we are. This is called the Vallée de la Marne. This is the Montagne de Reims. And everything south of Epernay is Côte des Blancs. So Chardonnay is king down here. Don't make much of it, actually. Very low yielding. This is the mountain where Pinot Noir is king, and then other stuff. Okay, so there we are. I did a map thing again. I'm very proud of myself today. Oh, I'm so... Okay. Oh, yeah. Where am I going? Where am I going in a few days' time? Paris, 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 Paris. I'm going to Texas. No, I'm not. See you at Wine Paris. I'll be at Wine Victoria giving masterclasses on wines from the greatest winemaking state in Australia, both on Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday morning. Please come along. Be nice to see you. Anybody from the trade watching this who's there, come along and have some really killer wines. I've been able to pick whatever I wanted. Okay, so we'll start with these two. So this is retail, somewhere between 120, right, and 150 Sovs, folding stuff. So there's 300 Nika worth of lager on the table right now. Okay, so we're going to start off with this one, which I believe is sold. I don't know where I was looking, but I can put it in the thingy. But just put the name Meurthe in there. Homage à William DEUTZ Meurthe, right in the middle. I think you can see it there. There we go. Meurtet. This is one of two single vineyards that were planted a long time ago, made from Pinot Noir. So you're now going to start getting to see the whole point, or at least there's kind of like the punchline of the whole thing. And La Côte Glacière is named the other one. And I know my delicious friend Dawn Davis at Whiskey Exchange has taken that on. Kind of thing that an ex-master sommelier might do, and master of wine. But we'll come on to that in a minute. What the point here is, we've got one of the greatest champagne houses there is, and DEUTZ doesn't make any crap. Trust, okay? They are really up there. Richard Weiss at Brasserie Saint-Jacques on St. James Street, my favourite French restaurant in London. He holds a lot of store in DEUTZ. It's the only champagne or Grand Marque champagne he carries. And I hope he sees this anyway, but he's a very businessman. Okay, so we're going to open these one at a time. Like that. See, when they're straight like that, they've been polished by tiny microscopic changes of temperature. This is old. I don't know how long that's been on disgorgement, but I'm going to say 6 years, something like 6 or 7 years. This is a 2015. They both are. 2015 was really hot. I think hotter than 2006, actually, which I really didn't like. But there was a different, which was university declared. I think it was because it was big. People have to make money when the sun shines, literally, don't they? Make hay or make champagne when the sun shines. This is, I think, a far superior vintage. I've drunk a lot of 2015s and really enjoyed their extract. Now, there's two ways where champagne can age very well. They can either age because they're very linear, have very low solids and high acidity. So they're pickled, but also there's not much stuff in it to go wrong or to go off. But over a long period of time, as it slowly oxidizes, you get these delicate, honey, tasty aromas. If you've got a wine that's full of extract and ripeness, then it relies on something else. Not acidity, but it relies on its extract of itself, its tannin, which produces another backboard to the richness of the wine. You can either have, like beer and whiskey is about tannin, okay, in some ways, and wine is more about acidity. Well, that can happen. So in years like 1976, which was thought to have been, it was going to be a very bad vintage, and the next vintage would be very similar to 76, was 2003, made cracking, what I call winter champagnes, full of texture, full of flavour, balanced in their own right, but had, on paper, far less acidity, but still had an ability to age. So that, you know, if wines don't have lots of acidity in champagne, don't think they won't age. And you muppets in England making some really decent fizz, don't think when 2018 came along, which was the first year where we could just about ripen a still wine, they went, oh, it's quite low in acid, so we'll go through malolactic or not go through malolactic. We'll preserve the acidity. No, English fizz is still too acidic. That's the problem. In most cases, you either have to just let it go and keep it in your cellar for 15 years until it's ready, or pick somewhere else. It does sound like I was really anti-English sparkling wine. I'm not, because the people who get it right know that actually it's always, in the short term anyway, going to be high enough acid in grapes, even the hottest summer that we've got, for those wines to age beautifully, possibly for 20 or 30 years. Okay. It's the Champagne Noir that have that problem now, because you can sunbathe on the banks of the Rhine, of the Rhine, of the Seine. Sorry. Okay, so said enough. Where are we? 10 minutes in. Let's quickly taste these two wines and explain them. So open this one too. Might be interesting to see if there's a colour discrepancy. What's interesting is there's Meurthe. And I pulled Van Glacier out. It looks like this has spent even longer on its lees, which probably implies that the wine's got even more extract, more complexity, needed more time before it was ready to be disgorged. So that cork has only gone in quite recently. That's been in there for ages. So there's a very clear difference in the bottle age between the two, but we won't know what that is. Just trust they're trying to make the wines as well as they can. And these are, by the way, wines which have been produced the first time, and it's the first time they've produced single vineyard, outside standard practice, even their luxury cuvee, William DEUTZ. These wines are above that, or at least a project on the side. And they've never done that since 1838, in nearly 200 years. So I'm very excited about trying these wines. Even just looking at them, it may be how I clean the glasses, but I've tried to be meticulous. This has very, 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 very fine bubbles, which are very slow evolving. The nucleation points in here maybe are a bit more obvious, but this wine is a bit livelier. That looks like Dom Perignon and Krug side by side, which it always, because I do it every weekend. Dom Perignon has very fine bead, a very low surface tension, which implies lots and lots of extended lees contact. And then on this side, you've got a jacuzzi, which is like Krug, but I think it's just the vigor of the wine. Okay, so remember, every bottle has been fermented in the bottle itself. So there are going to be variations. What the miracle about champagne is that two bottles taste even remotely the same. So that's fair enough. Okay. Oh my God, that smells amazing. Okay, so before we go on to the palate, I thought I'd just tell you a bit about how champagnes taste, or sparkling wines taste, or wines in general. Your mind extracts certain chemicals in certain different ways. The different coloured cones on your tongue, not cones, the cones in your eyes, but you've got cones and rods on your tongue as well. You've got these different identifying cells on your tongue, and they detect things at different phases. So if you mix a champagne, which is made usually from Chardonnay and Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier, but let's say it's just a Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, like a Grand Cru, which doesn't allow Meunier to be used, you always taste the Chardonnay first. It can be super, super ripe, but when it's like turning light on, the first flavour you get is the Chardonnay. And as the Chardonnay fades, the Pinot Noir tends to gather momentum. You get fuller in the mouth. Sorry about that. I think you might have heard a burp on the microphone. Having a good evening. You taste them separately. It doesn't matter how much you mix them up. If one is red and one is green and you mix them together, you don't end up with brown paint. Okay. Was it purple? Yeah. You still taste the Chardonnay first and the Pinot Noir second. It's just the way of things. Okay, so I'm smelling this, and the glass is filled very, very carefully now. The headspace is filled with the smell of a single Pinot Noir vineyard on the Grand Cru of IE in the Montagne de Reims. What a treat! Are they swinging a kick in the dick to Bollinger doing this? I don't know. Well, why not? It smells amazing. It's very taut, considering how ripe 2015 was and how good the fruit set was. It was very warm at fruit set. They didn't have the freakish frost that they've been having, as we've been having, around the time that the flowers come out. So really good fruit set and very, very, very warm. And it was very warm in September. I think they picked the grapes in like the 2nd of September or something. It was like the beginning of September. That's young for sparkling wine anywhere. But it just shows you how ripe it was. Very good sign. People argue that if you have a shorter ripening season, the wines are less complex, but it becomes complex for different reasons. That's one of the best champagnes I've ever tasted. God. This happened a few times on the channel. It doesn't happen very often, but I'm feeling a bit discombobulated by that. It's almost an emotional experience trying drinks and then them sitting outside your frame of reference. And this wine is beyond my horizons. It has incredible, profound flavors. It's very poised. It's very confident. It reminds me of the great wines by the cantankerous old Git at Egli Oyere, which is a producteur recoltant. So he grows his own grapes, makes his own champagne, makes some incredible wines. And that's exactly what's happening here, right? These are vineyards owned by DEUTZ and they're making their own wine. That wine has incredible richness, but it's still very, very cool, very minerally. It feels like it's like a platoon of SAS officers hiding behind a wall. It's not all guns blazing yet, but you know there's that to come. And there's something rather wonderful about that moment before the storm, the moment before you bite into a Twix bar or something, that moment of anticipation. And this wine has that sense of tension and also at the same time this incredible, rich, self-confident stance. So these are vineyards which are basically, they're in the same village, right? So how different could it taste? Everything's the same. The yeast they use to ferment it, the grape varieties, the clones of the grape varieties, the aspect might be slightly different. And there must be a reason why Dawn Davis bought this for the Whiskey Exchange and not this one. So I'm just saying. But I really like that one. Okay, so it's called La Côte Glacière, which might make you think, oh, the wine's going to be very linear, very clean and very fresh, sharp, like Paul Roger. No, I think it's called La Côte Glacière because it was the glacial action that created a steeper coast, because this wine's even riper than this, okay? It's got more. It's more of everything. It's got more bubbles, it's got more colour, it's got more whiff to it. Now, the whiff is much more open. And now I'm seeing a squirrel gnawing on a hazelnut. I don't know why. Holy shit. It's ready to go. That's the first thing I want to say. I just want to drink. I can't wait for him to get out of the bath. She's going to be so happy. I think I'm going to get it tonight, especially with this. Defo. Okay. Delicious wine. Wow. Explosions. Okay. These are the wines which, when I tell people to go to International Wine Challenge or Decanter World Wine Award or IWC and look at the results when they come out, if you want wines that you can stick in the cellar and watch them improve, look for the wines that you think you should have got a gold but got silvers. Because they're usually wines that just weren't ready yet. This is gold all effing day. This is a gold medal trophy winning wine. I'll be astonished if I don't see this again if it goes into competition. But then again, I think they only made like 6,000 bottles. Of only one pallet of that came to the UK. So maybe they won't. But at the same time, if Melissa's been as generous as she has in allowing her communications department to send me a bottle each, maybe this is all about the stance and the swagger. I've tasted thousands and thousands of champagnes. I could list the top 10 that I've ever drunk. These are both in the top 20. What can I say? If you want to spend 150 quid on Valentine's Day and really impress the guy or girl of your dreams, or both, or anything in between, and you think they really appreciate wine, maybe they know more about it than you do, this will blow their brains out. There you go. Tip for Valentine's Day. Okay. It's cheaper than a hooker. See you next time.